welcome to episode 5 of the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. It's 5 or 6. So today is a very weird day. The network is not working with us, but we are putting our hands together to make sure that this actually works, because nothing can stop this masterclass from happening. I'm ready. Our master teacher is ready. So there is nothing that can happen. Now, if you're here for the first time, I want to welcome you to our masterclass. This is the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. My name is Beatrice Achaleke. I am the serial author of the Africa for Smart Kids book series and publisher of GloBUNTU books. I am your host in this School of Life Masterclass. And the essence of the masterclass is actually to invite brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties and grandparents who have journeyed through, who have learned lessons of life, who have created systems that have allowed them to succeed and to teach them the fall down, to stand up and to run. And we have handpicked them to come here and share their content with you because now we're living through the pandemic. I even did not ask how you're doing with your families out there, your loved ones. I hope everything is good with you. I hope you continue to keep safe and to join us this Saturday for the masterclass. The essence, as I was saying, is to share knowledge with you, to share wisdom with you, to share life-changing tools that can enable you in this very moment to not fall into a depression. We want to uplift you, we want to inspire you, we want to motivate you, we want to give you tools to transcend from the from COVID-19, from the pandemic, into a greater version of yourselves. And we know that sometimes some of the wisdom that you get from the journey of life, you don't get them from any school. That's why we have the GloBUNTU School of Life. So if you want to know more about GloBUNTU books, visit our website, www.globuntubooks.com. Today is our master teacher is just amazing. I just love my sister. Before we get to her, I want to welcome those of you who are joining us on Facebook. You're most welcome. Please remember, this is a live interactive masterclass. You are invited to be part of this masterclass, and make sure that you get everyone around you to join us, because this is a School of Life masterclass that is actually for everybody. There is something for everyone, whether you're young or old. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your geographical location. There is something for you in this masterclass. So that said, I would like to take us to the class to meet my master teacher. As usual, the masterclass is set up in 4 chapters. In chapter 1, this one that we're in right now is the introduction. So I just finished the intro. You get to meet the master teacher. In chapter 2, we will be looking at that life-changing story, the life-changing moment in her life, that defining moment that changed her life completely. In chapter 3, we will be looking at her 5 lessons learned. And in chapter 4, we will wrap it all in a nutshell, in a very funny and nice way. So make sure that you stay close, you stay with us right till the end, and make sure that you join the conversation and use the chat box, the comment box, to join us, and we will make sure that we have you on stream. Now, that said, let's get into the masterclass and meet my today's master teacher. Good afternoon, sister. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Beatrice. Thanks for having me. And how are you today?
I'm very happy. I'm very excited because I know right after here you have another masterclass running. You're hosting a masterclass, and so I appreciate the fact that you put me and then you put you last. This is what sisters do sometimes, right?
Yes. Yes, please.
So welcome to the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. And today we are here to meet you. I know that you have some very juicy contents to share with us. And before I take too much of your time, it's your class. So let me give it over to you. Will you quickly introduce yourself in a nutshell, please, sister?
All right. Thank you so very much for having me. And thank you, everyone, for logging on live to this stream. I believe you're not just going to leave here the way you came. The master classes here have been very life-changing. I have watched, and even when I miss the series, I go back to watch again and again, and I get inspired every time I listen to any master teacher from this platform. My name is Dr. Ethel Abe. I am a very patient, loyal, and very committed person. I'm very enthusiastic about life and living. A good team player, I call myself. I try to see how we can achieve the end goal without compromising the standards, and then not minding who takes the credit. And my life journey on earth began in a village somewhere in the eastern part of Nigeria. I'm originally from Imo State. The first child of 10 siblings. And I schooled in the east for my primary and secondary school education. And then I migrated to the north, where I obtained a diploma, a Bachelor of Science degree, and a master's degree in business administration from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. And then I've worked in the private and public sectors of the Nigerian and South African economies. And my career in Nigeria began in the hospitality sector, where I worked until I think I resigned from the hospitality sector as a deputy manager, credit manager, or what, like manager, credit manager. And then I migrated to South Africa. But before I left for South Africa, I got employed in the civil service as an assistant chief accountant in the High Court of Justice, Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria, the Federal Capital Territory Judiciary. I resigned as an assistant chief accountant in 2000 and think that should be 2008. And in 2009, my family relocated to South Africa, 5 of us, with 9 briefcases and nothing to hold on to. But then we arrived here and I got a job as a management consultant in a skills development company. I worked for a year with the company and they relocated to Cape Town. We couldn't move, so we remained in Durban. And I was appointed as a senior management consultant among the pioneer employees of another human capital development consultancy. I was with them from 2010 January to 2012 December, when I chose to go pursue education further for a doctoral degree at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, South Africa. So in less than 3 years, I obtained my PhD, and I have been appointed at several occasions by the university as a postdoctoral fellow. And in 2019, January, I was appointed by the South African National Research Foundation to conduct a study to understand the sociocultural factors that influence children's performance, the students that are studying science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the university in South Africa. So having completed that study in 2020, I published over 19 articles in journals, conference proceedings, and I've published a book that I edited solely, had about 31 contributors from 8 countries in 5 continents. And I've contributed chapters to books. At the same time, I still write Christian literature. Okay, so during my academic career, I tried to influence, mentor, and see how I could reach out to the children. And presently, I am working on a new article and a book, as well as pursuing my business with the family parliament. And that's who I am.
Ooh, that was powerful. Very powerful. So those of you who are joining us, you see we have a powerhouse right here. A powerhouse. It doesn't matter from which angle you're coming. I promise you that you will not go back home empty-handed. So, sister, how have you? I know I don't want to go into your biography. That was really, really heavy, and I'll let it there. But those of you who are out joining us, please, if you have any questions with regards to the journey of Sister Ethel, please make sure that you use the comment box, use the conversation box, and don't text me please now on WhatsApp, because I can't take your messages on WhatsApp. Let's do this on Facebook and on YouTube because it's easier to manage. So now the pandemic, let's go to the pandemic. How have you been dealing with the pandemic? And I want to know something specifically. What have you learned about yourself during this pandemic? Something that you did not know about yourself that is positive. What has it been? Share with us.
Well, in the face of the lockdown, I think we had the most drastic lockdown in South Africa. It was like a nightmare. I'd never imagined those kind of things could happen, where you see the skyscrapers and the towers of the central Johannesburg shut down, and people were brought back home, and everybody was sitting in their homes and not knowing what to do. One of the things I learned was not to ever give in to fear, no matter what the circumstance is.
Mm.
I learned that I am a survivor, because in the face of that pandemic, I remember the first day we got to the gate of the estate where we stay, and we were told that you're not allowed to go out. That brought out something in me that I didn't know was there. I'm like, I'm not allowed to go out of a place I paid the rent and I've been living. And what does that mean? No, because there's a pandemic out there. The first thing that hit me was, you mean this is happening? Is this how we're going to be living? A sudden fear came to me, but I decided that, look, I know that this is going to bring us something better than what I've ever known from inside of me. So what I did was to turn my eyes away from what was happening, and I began to look inside of me for survival strategies for myself and my family. And the only thing that came to me was, keep telling your kids, assuring them that this will pass. This will surely pass. It was looking, like I said, a nightmare, but I learned that things don't remain the same if you stay the same with yourself. If you stay true to yourself and not be taken by what is happening around you, somehow you will survive the situation. So I saw inside the pandemic a potential for me to bring out something in me that wasn't there. And it was in the pandemic we decided to go back to the family parliament. It was in the pandemic I decided to continue to stream. It was in the pandemic I discovered that, look, we can use the airwaves for more important things than just sitting down and sharing stories of how I'm feeling today and what I'm looking. I discovered that we could impact people's lives using the airwaves, using the social media platforms, by at least saying what we know is truth to others. Especially that time, people were scared. So I discovered that fear is actually a function of ignorance, that if you don't know what you should know and somebody peddles fear to you, you can easily buy it. And even if it's true or false, you don't need to fear. The first place to say is to stay strong and stay true to yourself until that season is over. That was what I learned.
You must not let fear take a rent space in your mind. You must not let fear rent space in your house, not in your family, not on your block, not on your street, and not on your watch. I like that. Those of you who are joining us, you're online. We see you. We see you on Facebook. We see you on YouTube. Please, what has been your strategy during the pandemic? Share with us. What have you learned about yourself? And talking about fear, was fear in your neighborhood? And if yes, what have you done with that fear? Did you pick up something from what Sister Ethel said? Dr. Ethel said that can help you chase away that fear from your neighborhood. So that said, I would like us to go straight. Actually, we should be taking a quick break now, but I would like us to get into the story, get into your story. Tell us in a nutshell, at that incident, that moment, that defining moment that changed the course of your life forever.
That story, I don't know if I can ever finish telling that story, but it's the story indeed that changed my life forever. And that was when I
finished. In a nutshell, sister.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll wrap it up. Okay. I know we're working against time and time is not waiting for us. So I'll wrap it up. Okay. So what changed my life was when I finished primary school. I schooled in my village community school, and upon finishing my primary 6 exams, I had to write the common entrance exams, which you have to write before you go to secondary school in Imo State. So I was admitted to go to a school about 15 or 18 kilometers away from my own hometown. And incidentally, that year, my stepmother gave birth to a boy. And my dad didn't have a stable job at that time. And there was no money, actually, for me to go to school. And, for me at the time, I felt like getting the admission was a big thing. It was a huge privilege to go to school. And I was too small, I didn't have this rapid growth. I had a very slow growth, and then I started to grow eventually. So I felt, no, I won't miss this opportunity. So there's this other girl from my village who also had admission to the same school. I recruited her. I told her, I said, listen, I know you'll be going to school, but my father has told me that I won't be going to school this year because there's no money for me to go to school. So what he will do is maybe next year I will try to write the common entrance again. I said, no, but I would like to go to that school, although it's far from my hometown, that if we could just walk to the place. Honestly, I had no idea. I thought that that village was like the next village to my village. I didn't know I had to cross like river, cross hills, and before we got there. So I persuaded this young lady and she agreed with me. So that day my father left and my stepmother was with her baby. So I told the girl, I said, we should go very early so that before my father comes back, we would be home. But I just hinted one or two cousins that we are going to that village. And it's okay, I'm from Ata, and the other place is Amakoya. So imagine a small girl with short legs, both of us. We started walking. We trekked. And then, because we didn't know the way, we would ask from village to village. And by the time we got to that school, it was already, they have closed school. It was about 2:30 or so. I don't have a wristwatch. I didn't have a wristwatch at the time. So we met the principal. If school had closed, she was still in the office. So she asked us, the security at the gate asked us what we wanted. I said, okay, I wanted to see the principal. I want to ask her for a favor. And imagine two children, they're looking dusty. They've walked for only God knows how long. And then the man took us by the hand and took us to the principal. We spoke with her. She asked me where we came from. I told her. She said, why did you come? I said, my father said there's no money to pay my school fees. So I came to ask you, please, to defer my admission for next year because... sorry, I'm getting emotional. Forgive me. I think sometimes it's like that. So I said, please defer my admission for the next year because I believe that by next year, my junior brother would have grown and he would have saved some money for me to come to this school. The woman looked at me and said, look, I'm going to keep your admission. Whatever it takes, I'm going to keep your admission. For you to come this way, I will keep that admission. I didn't know what that meant. But then by the time we trek, we're going back home. I was very sure we're not going to get home that day. But fortunately, I think my father got home. He was told, he came and picked us up with his bicycle, me and my friend, and then took us home. And then he asked me why I did that. I told him, I said, I didn't want to miss that admission. So I think he went and discussed with his friend, who was an assistant headmaster during the week, and told him what I did. And then how I have been down. I wasn't feeling cool, but happy with myself because of what had happened. So the man said to him, and he came and told me that the man said he saw potential, that he knows that a child like me, I was intelligent in primary school, and that for me to have the guts to walk to that village means that there's great potentials in me, that I shouldn't be that kind of girl that should be allowed to just waste, maybe grow up and get married, but that he was going to pay my school fees, So he gave my father 100 naira, and that was 1979 or 1977 or so. So he gave my father 100 naira. With that 100 naira, my father was able to pay my school fees, bought all the books. I was sent to school, even though school had resumed. Maybe I was a month late. So I was able to go to school. Unfortunately, by the grace of God, my father didn't have to look for any help again until I finished secondary school. But that story stuck with me. And I think maybe they used it to open my eyes to begin to see potentials in people, because I didn't know what potentials meant, but that word stuck with me, that there is something bigger than you that somebody is seeing ahead of time, and the person could invest in my life. And I'm like, okay, so there's potential in me. So when I look at people, what I first of all think is, what is this person's potential? So that was the story that changed my life. I didn't, from that first day of my dad telling me, look, my child, I would have loved to send you to school, but there's no money. You see, your stepmother has given birth. There's a child, your junior brother has come. We need to buy food. And I'm saying, okay, it's okay, but then I never thought in my life I was going to go to university. I never thought I was going to be anything. But the fact that that man said, I see potentials in that child, it changed my life. And it still does impact on my life today. And that's my story. That's my story. So going forward, I believe that life is more meaningful than what we see. Life is more meaningful than what we see about ourselves and about others around us. So it's important to know that the person that is down the ladder today could climb up tomorrow. So that is what I see about potentials. I think let me not waste much of our time again.
That is so important. That is so important. And bless the soul of that man who saw that potential in you. And look at who you are today. Look at how many lives you have impacted. Look at what you're doing. You're lecturing, you're consulting, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're hosting the family parliament, you're an author. And well, look, those of you who are out there, that word potential can sometimes be irritating. But I want you to go down in your mind, go down memory lane and find out when was that moment that someone told you that they saw something in you, even if they did not use the word potential? When was that moment? Or when is that moment that you found something in someone that you thought was bigger than them? I love the way you define that, sister. When was that moment? And what did you do with that? During this pandemic, we've spent time with family, with our children, with loved ones, very close. What have you discovered in your children, in your partner, in your friends, in yourself that you think is bigger than you thought before the pandemic? I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Use the comment box, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Please use the comment box and share your experiences. And I will take us to a very short break and show you some books that you can be reading. And after that, we'll get down to chapter 3 of the story, where we will listen to Sister Ethel's lessons learned. 5 lessons learned. Don't go away. Make sure you pick your pen, pick your block, and come right back. So, welcome back. Welcome back. I saw Sister Ethel just rocking that music in the background.
Yes.
We're going to write and publish books that we love to read, books that gives us a proud sense of our African identity. If you are an adult, you are a child, you are a teacher, you are a caregiver, you care about African identity and African history, make sure that you visit our website, www.globuntubooks.com. That's where we collect and share African stories. Now we're back in the studio in the School of Life with my master teacher, Dr. Ethel, my sister. Now I see. Oh, we have someone online. There we go. Our next master teacher. You see, our master teachers, the line to follow these classes, and I just love that. It means we're constantly learning. We can't stop learning, right? We constantly learn until we get down to our graves. Now, sister, let me give the microphone back to you. It's your story. Give us the 5 juiciest lessons that you've learned along your life journey up until now. I know there's so many. Give us 5 juiciest.
Just 5. All right. I've learned that life is a seed. Life is a seed. And somehow, what you sow has a way of abounding to you in a harvest. I learned in life that the seed of life is embedded in relationship. And that relationship between 2 or more people actually rests on one person's legs. And if that person take off their legs, the relationship will crumble. So life is a seed hanging on relationships which are standing, relationships that stand on one person's feet. And if that one person removes their feet, relationships will crumble. And me, I always like to be that feet on which relationships stand, because I don't want to be hurt. So I always try to stand until the last person has fallen in a relationship, because I understand it is a seed. And number two lesson I learned, like I shared earlier, is never to give in to fear. Never to give in to fear, no matter who peddles it. Verify information. And fear is actually, for me, I see fear as a pegged down dragon that is vomiting fire and all kinds of things. But if you look at it, it's not moving anywhere. So fear is powered by your yielding to it. I learned that fear is not something you should look at and allow it to sway you. You should investigate fear and make sure you have information to be able to resist it, no matter who peddles it. Number three lesson is that human life is superior to everything that can be acquired. There is nothing you can give in exchange of a human life. So human life has value and is very superior. No matter who we are, if we don't give value to life, we begin to lose the very essence of our humanity. So human life is superior to whatever money can buy, because no matter what money buys, it can't give life. Okay? And I think number fourth one is that we are all equal.
Mm-hmm.
After all, that was proven to be.
Let's get the conversation going. Doctor, you already have three very powerful lessons there. Number one is relationships. Mm-hmm. I want you, Ubuntu, the Ubuntu philosophy says, I am because you are. We are who we are because of someone. We are where we are because of someone. You are there today because someone invested 100 Nairas in you. And look at where we are. And yes. We, as mothers, we need to be children. We need children to be called mothers, or to be parents. We need lecturers to be students. Need lecturers. Landlords need tenants. Parents need children. Someone always needs us. So relationships are very important. We can expand on that, but I just want to drop it out there to our listeners online. What is your take on relationship? What is the powerful thing that you have discovered about relationship, and how are you managing your relationships? Please share with us. Use the comment box. Let's make this masterclass as lively as possible. The second one is never give up on fear. What are you afraid of right now? What is your biggest fear right now? Please share with us. You never know. Sometimes just sharing it may take away that fear. And I know fear is false evidence appearing real, but sometimes it's right there. It's right there. What do you do with it? Tell us in the comment box, what is your fear right now? And human life is superior. Human life, we're all human beings here. What is your take on these three lessons? Or maybe you've learned another lesson in life that you think is so key to you. Please share with us. Let's make this masterclass as lively as possible. Sister, I am passing over to you. Give us your two other juicy contents. I'm loving this.
Thank you. I said the fourth one is we are all equal. After all, when all is said and done, we are all born with two eyes, 2 ears, and everything about us is the same red color of blood, and we are all equal. I saw that demonstrated during the pandemic. Everybody ran indoors and locked their door. They were afraid of one thing. And people left their bogus and big offices, left their big cars, couldn't drive around, especially where we stay here. And it was like, oh, all of us go to the same malls after all, and they will shop the same things and eat food, and everything is entering the same toilets. We are all equals, I promise you, no matter the status we have acquired in life. The man on the street is not really different, apart from the values we've added by the reason of education of our associations we've kept. We are all equal. And my last but not the least, actually should have been number one, is that you should trust your gut if it is rooted in your creator. Trust your guts, trust your heart if you have your root in your maker, because your heart will not deceive you if it is founded in its owner. We don't own ourselves, and the trust we have in ourselves always fail. At least people planned in 2020, people had different kinds of things they had planned to achieve for the year 2020, but then somebody somewhere or some situation somewhere scrambled it all, and people had to learn to depend on themselves. So trust in your guts, trust in your heart if it is actually founded in your creator. Those are the 5 lessons I've learned, because I don't think the 2020 pandemic would have gone that easily. For people like us who were in complete lockdown, you're not going anywhere. You wouldn't even. My neighbor, we moved into a new neighborhood. We couldn't talk to the neighbors. We didn't even know them for the first 10 months of our moving in there, because we moved in the next month was pandemic. So it was like you had to trust yourself to survive in the midst of those things. But that trust had to be in your heart, because that heart is rooted in your maker. Those are my 5 lessons I've learned in my life.
Wow. Wow. I love those. We are all equal. We are all equal. We all have 2 eyes. We all have, we build in the same structure. We may have different skin colors. We may have different abilities. We may have different education, different social background, different aspirations, but we're all the same, and we all have 24 hours in a day. No one has more than 24 hours. You may set up yours differently. We all have 24 hours in a day, and we all have blood running in our veins. You are out there. What is your take on equality? How do you define it? How do you live it? What lessons have you learned about equality that you'd like to share with us? Please use the comment box. And trust your gut. My goodness, trust is something very big. Trust is extremely big. Trusting in yourself, trusting in the environment around you, trusting in the people that you work with, trusting in the universe, trusting in your creator, trusting in decisions that you take. I think that is extremely powerful. And trust is something that we could talk on for the whole day and the whole week. But I think we will keep it right there and move on with the masterclass. If someone is out there that has something to share with us concerning trust, concerning equality, that we're all equal, that life should be superior, it should be our paramount, the paramount thing in our minds when we take decisions and when we do things. We should never give in to fear, and we should be mindful of our relationships, because they're very key in life. So share with us. I'm enjoying this masterclass. Sister, I'm going to take you to your next chapter. With all the lessons that you learned, with the long journey that you have behind you, with that 100 nairas invested in you and seeing what it has done, and you always thinking out for potential in other people, what is your next chapter? What is your next chapter in this pandemic and after this pandemic and in life together?
I'm actually finding ways. I'm trying to find ways to promote human values above things, especially among the people I know who are Africans. We've come to the place in Africa where human value, human life is being trampled on. I'm not talking about quality legislations and stuff. I'm talking about the real, when it comes to bottom line. How do we get Africans to begin to think about the value of life above things? There were days I've heard of people's phones snatched and the owners were either wounded or, some of them have lost their lives because of small things. And look at what is happening in my country, for instance, where the value for life has really begun to become meaningless, where people are being traded for money. I mean, I've been studying and finding ways, looking for ways to promote the value of human life above things, especially among us Africans. They said if you dangle a carrot to an African, or you dangle something like a meat, you get them. People have had different kinds of stereotypes about this continent. They say they can't rule themselves, they can't do they can't go forward, and this about African thinking. But we are humans, and we are so endowed with wealth in our ground and in our air, that if we can just have value for life and understand that in being leaders in this continent, that we could use the little we have in Africa to promote the value for African lives everywhere in the world. I'm thinking, I'm trying, I'm reading, I'm compiling things to see how I can find ways to promote the value for life in Africa. And the second thing I'm doing is to find ways to reorientate our mindset as Africans away from this dependence on others. I have come to believe that the solution to my problem is inside of me. I also believe that the solution to African problem is right here inside of Africa. I always tell people that when I needed to grow teeth, my father and my mother didn't apply to the dentist. I said, dear dentist, my child is up to age, give her some teeth. The teeth grew out of me. You understand me? And when I needed to begin to give birth, there was no application to anywhere to say, okay, give us time. It's time for her to grow breast and then become a girl child. No, those things were embedded in us, even from the creator of our life. So I believe that in every land, with the waters and the land that surround that land, there are resources natural. And for the human nature, there are resources in us that can help us indeed to become all the creator had intended for us to do or to be on the earth, if we can reorientate our minds from the defeatist mindsets that we have, dependence mindset on others that we have. Because I believe that Africans are intelligent people. But the kind of education we've had so far has not been what we really need. I lecture in a college. Recently, a child asked me a question that shook me. That was last week. I lecture business management and research. So in business management, the child asked me, he said, why is this curriculum emphasizing on corporate social responsibility and not on the things we need to know as entrepreneurs to build or start up our own businesses and sustain it? Why are they teaching us and making us write and do assignments of different kinds of things on corporate social responsibility and not on the things that should build the managerial instinct or entrepreneurial self-efficacy in us so that we can start businesses and go forward? I was dumbfounded by the child. I told the child, I said, watch this space. I'm going to help you to bring out that thing in you that is asking this question. You know why? Because for a child to begin to look at, scrutinize curriculum and say, this is not going to help me be what I have to be. I'm looking for ways I'm trying to find ways to help the African child understand the potentials they have in themselves to be able to tap into the resources that are here naturally and the ones that we can use from elsewhere to solve the African problem. The day we rise up as Africans to begin to ask questions concerning the innate abilities we have and the potentials in our land and find ways to manage those things, I think we'll go forward. But the problem, first of all, is our mindset. It needs to be reorientated so that we can understand how to take our continent to the next level. So that's my chapter.
Whoa, that's the next chapter is extremely big. And I'm glad that you focus on the powers within us. That when we are sent onto this planet, into this earth, we are endowed with a lot of gifts, and sometimes this gift we keep them inside of us. We don't we forget to ignite them, to unleash them, to grow them, and to use them to make an impact. And sometimes we die in small pieces inside of us, killing this seed. I often wonder when you were created, the moment that you were created, when your father and your mother made you, they received you. I would say there were 49,000 sperms that were shot into your mom's womb, and you survived. You survived. And in that survival package, you came with a whole lot of resources, a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of gifts. And the question is, how old are you? If you're joining us, how old are you? How many of your gifts have you discovered? How many of your talents have you discovered? And what are you doing with them? If you haven't discovered them, please let this masterclass be the starting point. Let us encourage you right here to look inside of you and find that one thing that you always wanted to do. That one thing that when you wake up, your mind goes right into it. That one thing that when you go to sleep, it turns in your stomach. But you have doubts, you have fears, you don't trust yourself or whatever. That one thing is one of your gifts that you may be sitting on, you may be sleeping on. So we are challenging you to wake up and unleash that gift right here in this masterclass. And if you need help, use the comment box or inbox us. We will help you as much as we can to unleash that potential in you. You are tuned in to the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. This is full episode 5, and our master teacher today is Dr. Ethel Abe. And she talked about her big chapter, but she did not mention the big chapter, that the next chapter that is coming after this masterclass. Sister, tell us about the family parliament. You have a masterclass right after here. Tell us about that.
The family is actually the microcosm of society. The family is the nuclear strength of society. And when the family is decaying, or when the family is completely eradicated from this nuclear center, the core it holds in the society falls apart. You see, we have a lot of people that are called street children. Nobody's born in the street. People's families degenerated, people's families decayed, and nothing seemed to be coming out from anywhere to see how we can rebuild the family. So, family parliament was a vision born in 2011 by my husband and I. When we saw what was happening in the family, we saw people getting divorced. In fact, we had been counseling, and we saw that most of the people that would have divorced, that passed through our pathway, the things that would have led them to divorce were actually things that were nothing. So people did not know what to do. People did not know where to go to. Some said they have gone to counselors, they've gone to psychiatrists, they've gone to pastors, they've gone to different elders, and nothing was happening. And then we discovered that, look, if we have a platform that is neutral, that could address issues, that could look at the family and what people are going through, and see how we could help people come to have small information to even run marriage and family life, we could be able to solve at least a little of the problem. You know why? We go to school. I went to school to study. I have a bachelor's degree in business admin, a master's degree in business admin, a PhD in management, just to go to 9 to 6, 9 to 5, or 8 to 4 work. I was trained from primary school to now to work efficiently and effectively in the office. But there's no school for marriage. There's no credential. There's nothing. Nobody teaches you where and how, or rather what to do concerning your family when you start one. I don't know if you get me. So what do I mean? We learn to work in the workplace. Yet work and family are two legs that have to work together to take you somewhere. But now we are prepared for the workplace, and there's no preparation for the family. So people are hitting themselves and hurting themselves in marriage that should be able to kind of cushion them to function effectively in the workplace without information. And what people are learning, most people are learning from broken hearts or wounded people who have been wounded badly and made up their minds to wound others. So some people will go to people who have already been wounded to get information on how to work their marriages and their families, and it's not working. So we had this burden come to us, and we said, look, why don't we create a platform? If we cannot solve the problem of the world, nobody can. We should start from where we are. You don't eat an elephant by eating everything. You just start from somewhere. So that's the burden that founded the family parliament. How do we bring some kind of information that is balanced, stable, that could push people to at least begin to reconsider their stand on family, on marriage and family life? If you notice, children these days are not getting married. Do you know that? The youth are not thinking. They're not thinking of family at all. They are thinking, look, I can survive, give back to children, and then live and raise those kids. But those kids end up not being balanced kids. So we believe that somehow marriage is not an institution that came after a light thought. The creator of that institution had something in mind. And whatever he had in mind was they're either deliberately neglected or pushed aside so that people, other agendas, could take over the mankind and spoil what God wanted to do. So the power or the vision or the burden for family parliament is, how do we help? How do we contribute? Before we go, everybody will leave this side. How do we contribute to helping people palliate some of the problems they're going through in marriage and family life? That is the burden. Okay.
You people tune in there. I see someone saying, this is my sister. She's saying, thank you, Dr. Ethel. That is very true. So I just want to encourage people. The family parliament runs, you tell us how often the family parliament hosts master classes on Facebook. Again, the master class on family is coming up. The family parliament master class is coming up at 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. We want to just quickly go from here to that master class because that's where we get a lot of nuggets. And I encourage you to join the family master classes. the family parliament master classes, when you should join them every day, whether you're married, you're not married, you're a single mom, you're aspiring to get married, whatever, you may get some real content there. Like Sister Ethel rightly said, there is no school for marriage, and this could be the space that you can really get some of the input, the information, the insight that you need in order to save your marriage, or maybe plan your marriage so you can be successful in it. So thank you so much, Sister Ethel. Quick. Where can people find you? People say, oh, the family parliament, that's exactly where I want to be. Where can people find you?
Okay. You see, the family parliament has already, we have the family parliament deliberations where we have our regulars come in once every month at the third Saturday of the month. Today is one deliberation where people make contributions. We've been asking questions since January. So to this month's question, we're asking, who is my spouse? You know, when you don't know the person that is in front of you, to relate with them, I'm not talking about who is my spouse, beautiful, short, ugly, good cook, good chef, oh, my ATM. No, I'm talking about who is this person in front of you. And that's what we are going to unpack today at the family parliament. We have, I think we have 7 people on set. We have 3 couples and 4 couples in principle working the family parliament today, asking questions and answering questions. I mean, it's a deliberation, and at the end of the day, we write down. We are going to publish a book called Family Parliament Deliberations in January 2022. It will comprise all the deliberations from January to December this year. And then we started the masterclass where we bring couples whose marriages have been proven, tested and proven, that have been married for over 20, 25 years. They will come to share their experiences, to help us glean from their own experiences, because people have now come to believe that marriage is a mistake and that is a lie. So we want to bring, we have been bringing, and we are going to continue to bring every month, the second Saturday of every month, master couples to teach us what made their marriage sustainable and why they are still together despite the turbulent waters of marriage and family life. So that is every month for second Saturday. And then we have masterclass reconciliations, where we bring fathers who have had issues with their sons, whether it is religious sons, biological sons, or even mothers who have issues, and they want to reconcile, but they don't know the platform to bring themselves to. We have the family parliament reconciliations. It is a breaking news kind of thing. It's going to happen from next month, and that's where we are at for now. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Applause. That's just great. And I'm so excited for the possibility that the forum that you're creating and the possibility that you're offering people, especially during the pandemic. We have realized that being locked down, being shut down in families, and having to spend a lot of time with your loved ones or with your family members, or has been quite challenging for some people. And I think quite a lot of people have mental health issues right now. People are traumatized individually and as a collective. And I think having such a forum where people can come and just air themselves, people can come and unpack and release, it's something that is so needed right now. So I really, really commend you and your husband for putting together that platform. And those of you who are out there, whether you're joining this masterclass today or tomorrow, whether you're listening to this after this class or not, you can always go on Facebook, the Family Parliament page. You'll find all the videos there. The Family Parliament also has a YouTube channel. In the description box of this masterclass, you'll find all the information, the links on where to find the Family Parliament. And please do not hesitate. That may be the support that you need in order to solve some of the things that you think are unsolvable in your house right now. So go to the Family Parliament and get some counseling, get some advice from people who are doing it and doing it over the years. This is the School of Life Masterclass, the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. This is episode 5. My name is Beatrice Ajaleke. I am your host, and my master teacher today, our master teacher, is Dr. Ethel Abe. She's been giving us some really juicy content. And this one about the Family Parliament is just the cream on top of the cake. So right now, we're going to wrap this masterclass so that you can go get ready for your Family Parliament masterclass. I really commend you, and you look so beautiful today, sister. You look so cute in your short hair. Your hair matches with your jacket.
Thank you, sister. Thank you so much.
So, let's go to chapter 4 of the masterclass. And as usual, you're going to be completing a couple of sentences for me. This is the part where we just wrap it up in a nutshell, where we have fun. It is not an exam, we just want to put it in a nutshell and just have fun doing it. Okay. So, Krista, are you ready?
Yep.
You ready for this part?
Yes.
Okay. Complete the following sentences for me. I am.
Because you are. I am because you are.
Okay. The 4 words, the 4 key words that describe me are
visionary, honest, enthusiastic, and passionate.
I love that. The most precious thing that I possess is
life. It cannot be bought with money. Life.
Ooh, that's deep. Looking back at my life, I know for sure today that
the future is greater. The future is better.
My number 1 weapon against fear is
looking inside and being focused. Focus.
Okay. Marriage to me is
being married to the man I'm married to. Marriage to me. Actually, married to me is being married to the man I'm married to with God in our midst. That's marriage.
Okay. The defining lesson that I've learned about life so far is that
life is a seed. If you sow wickedness, there is a way wickedness will wait for you. Life is a seed. And what you sow has a way of becoming your harvest.
Ooh, okay. As a parent, I dream of
my children doing better than me, being greater than me in every way.
What most people do not know about me is that
I'm a born-again Christian.
Okay. The one thing that I cherish about my husband, the one thing that I cherish most about my husband is
he's selfless. My husband is very selfless. He allows me to function in my space.
If I were to define success, I will say it is.
That one I have to think. Success is being comfortable. Success for me is being
I like that one.
In my skin, being comfortable in myself for who I am, what I am, not thinking of what others think about me. That's success for me.
Wow, I love that. If I had my life all over again, I would
love more. I'll be deeper. I will not look at things superficially. I will look more consistently inside people. I will not be thrown aside. I will not look around. I will look more intently and more deliberately in people.
Okay. And if I had an advice for the 18-year-old version of me back then, it would be
don't fear. The future is yours to conquer. Don't fear. No matter your circumstance, don't fear. You can conquer your future and make it what you want it to be. Don't fear.
The one thing that I always have in my refrigerator is
what is that now? I'm thinking, oh Lord, sis, why are you doing this now? Nigerian soup.
And it's coming to Nigerian soup.
Please come. If it's not there, it's not complete. It was half Nigerian food at one point or the other. Yes.
Home is home, right? Home is home, and life begins with what you eat,
Yes.
Okay. In the next 10 years, I see myself.
I see myself. I see myself working to change the mindset of Africans in my space. I see myself working with people with their mindsets changed about this continent. And that is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If today was my last day, I would.
I will be singing and thanking God, giving him glory for giving me the privilege to live on the earth.
Mm. I see my role in the world as
give the value he gave me. Add, please, add value to others.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I had it my way, if I had it all my way, I would.
I would be in my country, changing people's mindset about the value for life.
Mm-hmm. The last one, I want to be remembered as an African woman who
took family from the hand of the wicked, who took family away from being a place of endurance to a place of enjoyment. That is what I want to be remembered for.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, you out there. That was in a nutshell with lots of new nuggets and new information and new tips in there. I hope you were able to catch them. I don't want to have to summarize all of those. I leave them there for you. Listen to them with your children. You're tuning again to the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. This has been the class with our master teacher, Dr. Ethel Abe. Sister, that was powerful. Is there something else that you'd like to add before we close the masterclass today?
Thank you so much, Sister Beatrice, for setting this platform. I told you yesterday that when we continue from where we are, trying to change things for good in Africa, we will get there. Because while you're doing what you're doing at the left, I'm doing what I'm doing at the right, and we all meet at a point, we would have taken a lot of ground. So I want to congratulate you for the GloBUNTU School of Life and the GloBUNTU books and everything you're doing, especially the Trailblazer Awards. You are a phenomenal woman. Please don't stop. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't look like we're applauding you enough. I know that this is going somewhere, and you're kind of championing a cause that I think that if other African women will lead from their own spaces, we will get to a place where Africa will remember us even long after we are gone. All right. And I thank you for having me here. And I don't think I've been the best of the master teachers. We've had fantastic and phenomenal people talking on this platform. The words left on this platform, I see them as words of marble that people can find tomorrow, and they will thank God and thank you for creating this platform. And for everyone that is out there watching, remember that life is a seed. Try and add value to other people's lives, because that which you add to their lives, you will find tomorrow. Not or not in the same measure you measured, but it could be in a greater measure, because no seed comes back as a fruit with only one harvest of fruit. You have abundance. You will grow as Africans into a harvest that we will reap, and people will say, when did we start making this, planting this harvest? I mean, these seeds that we got the harvest from. You are encouraged. I encourage you to look at yourself as a seed. Sow yourself in somebody's life. Sow yourself in somebody's business. Sow yourself in somebody's platform. Share this platform. Share GloBUNTU publications or whatever they are doing. And let us take back Africa, one man at a time, until we get to the place where we can look at ourselves and be proud of being who we are and comfortable in our skins. Thank you so much.
It's me thanking you, sister. Maya Angelou said, when you learn, teach. And that's what we're doing here. You were an amazing master teacher. And I'm so happy that you took the time. I know that you have a class waiting for you right now. And for you to put in that time and to put in the kind of jewels and the content that you put out today is just priceless. priceless. And we have so many sisters and brothers out there doing things. Let's put our hands together. Let's collaborate and make sure that we expand the platforms. We're not here to compete with anyone. We're here to complement one another. So if you're going to the family parliament, you're here, make sure you go to the family parliament, because what you get there, you don't get here. And sometimes the things that you get here, you can't get there. So I think putting the platforms together, running them and putting them together is where we want to give value. We want to give extended value to people who come to our platforms. So I celebrate you, sister. I commend you, and I am so happy to know you and to know that you're going from here to the family parliament. So those of you who are out there, this has been episode 5 of the GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. You have been tuning into our master teacher today. I'm juggling in the studio. You've been tuning into the class with Dr. Ethel Abe, who is now going to the school. I'm getting confused. I'm so excited. Too much juice in my head. The family parliament, and you're welcome to join her right there. And while you take time to watch the other parliament videos and make sure that you check the dates, the schedules of the next parliament school, not the School of Life, the family parliament masterclasses. Masterclasses. Don't miss any one of them. If you do, they're always on the wall. Make sure that you come back and watch them. Take your family with you. Take your spouse with you. Take your friends with you. Take your colleagues with you. Take your pastor with you. Whoever is around you. By just sharing any one of these masterclasses, you can change someone else's life forever. Please never forget that. Information is so important, and we all need tips and tools and advice these days. So at GloBUNTU Books, we are committed to collecting, documenting, and sharing African stories and African history. We are on every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. with the School of Life Masterclass, but we are also coming up. What is so important right now is the GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award for kids, our children who are beating the pandemic and being so brave, whether at school, at home, and juggling with so many things and missing a very important part of their childhood. We are awarding them, we are recognizing them with the first GloBUNTU Trailblazer Award is going to be on the 20th of June. So we are inviting parents, uncles, aunties, neighbors, teachers, whoever you are. Nominate Black children, nominate them, whether they're from Africa, from outside of Africa, wherever they are in the world. We want to recognize them for their bravery, for keeping up with the pandemic. So go to our website, www.globuntubooks.com, and you'll find all the information right there. So until then, I wish that you and your family and your loved one continue keeping well and safe. And I'll see you on Saturday in another GloBUNTU School of Life Masterclass. Stay safe and go straight now at 7 o'clock to the Family Parliament Masterclass. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.